insem bi koso eye insem be ya na ansa na yakwa bo audio no amamati no message notification button no obetene ni on so the any update be bia onso onsa be ka na wahwe na wa like wa subscribe ama bibia aye kama mangibre ni enkotie insem kakra ewo ho no.
Because it is not about partisanship. It's about the pride of the democracy. It's about the pride of having systems that work. Many years ago, I traveled to Cote d'Ivoire in 2011 with Raymond Archer, the journalist, and we went to interview Laurent Gbagbo. We all felt very proud as Ghanaians. In fact, Kwesi Pratt led that team. We all felt very proud as Ghanaians when we were telling the Ivorians that in Ghana, we have so many radio stations. That time there had been an election that was conflicted. And we said in Ghana, this will never happen. The Electoral Commission will mention the results and that's it. And we felt very good about ourselves, that our democracy was ahead of the Ivorian democracy. Media plurality was ahead of the Ivory Coast media plurality. I remember Kwesi Pratt was shocked that, hey, they don't have a single private radio station since 2011. So there are things about our constitution and there are things about the conduct of our public officers that can make us proud, whether it's NDC or MPP. What happened at the press conference yesterday in relating to the cases? I thought, I appreciate Dominic Ayini saying that he only come to us with cases that he has investigated. But here he was talking about Solomon, that Solomon was running away from justice. And the next day, Solomon issues a press statement, almost suggesting that the learned minister for justice was lying. I mean, how? So I put here the face of the late Cor Swansea, so that it might give us some inspiration. You see, when you go to the Manchester United dressing room at the Old Trafford, you see the photographs of Dennis Law, of Sir Bobby Charlton, and it's supposed to inspire the new generation. I don't know whether in the dressing rooms of Kumasi, Asante Kotoko, they have Baba Yara, Ifum Kofi Tufo, Kwesi Appiah, Opoku Efriye, Kofi Bedu, Francis Kumi, those old players that inspire. Whether House of Folk have the Fearsome Five, Samson Lamte, Peter Lamte, Ofe Ansan, Nana Benyi Krensel, Shamokwe, whether they have that. But these photographs are to Judas in Kosaswa. No Attorney General has made an attempt to violate these principles. Yesterday, I saw those principles buried on their head when I watched the press conference of Dr. Ayini. Attorney General Akufo-Addo will tell the press during the trial of Quality Grain, they'll ask him that, do you think the accused persons are guilty? You tell them, no. We are going to make our case. We are going to make our case. We've continued to make our case. The defense will make their case. At the end of the day, Justice Afre will decide. And then he'll be smiling. And then he goes away. They ask him that, do you think the verdict? He said he should ask Justice Afre that. This was in the days of 2001 when everybody was excited about Kufuor's administration that they are going to catch some thieves and they are going to deal with some NDC thieves of 20 years old. Attorney General Akufo-Addo resisted ever to comment on the process of the case. I remember I interviewed Dr. Obed Asamoah in the year 2000 after the very heavy Supreme Court case of the voter ID card. It was a big matter that sharply divided NDC and MPP. Obed Asamoah made his arguments in the Supreme Court forcefully. When he left the court, I rushed to him with the microphone and I said, Doc, how do you see the court? He said, he asked me, how did you see it? And I said, well, I think it was good. Do you believe that the court will agree with you? Then he stopped. He was walking. He stopped. He said, these are not questions you should ask me. The Supreme Court panel has sat. They have heard me, and they have heard Nana Akufo-Addo, and they have heard Mr. Zuenis. They will make a decision. At 2 o'clock is what they said. Can't you wait for 2 o'clock? That's what he told me. And I was very excited by that. Betty Moldy-Drisu, when she was Attorney General, there was so much pressure on her that she should try people, she should convince people, she should try people and convince people. And sometimes she walk out of court and the media will ask, he says, no, please. She said that I have been a Solicitor General of the Attorney General's Department before I became Attorney General. We are not supposed to conduct our case in the press. We will not conduct our case in the press. And everybody used to remember that phrase, we will not conduct our case in the press. That was Betty Moldy-Drisu. Martin Amidu, hardly ever heard, speaking to journalists, Benjamin Kungwo. And I'm using the NDC examples. And Dr. Ayini was Deputy Attorney General to Marietta. Viewers, did you ever hear Marietta ever as Attorney General trying any case publicly and telling people that this person is a thief and I'm coming after you? Civil servants, Attorney General and Minister for Justice threatens people that if you are like Justice Udubwe, I'm coming after you. Anyway, for the purpose of the history, this is called Swansea. He was the first African Attorney General. The first Attorney General was not an African, even though it was after independence. His name is Godfrey Bain, a very distinguished Irish barrister, was our Attorney General then. But after him came Koswan, this is Dr. Beda Samoa, this is Nana Akufo-Addo, this is Papa Uswan Kuma, this is Ni Ayikwe Otu, this is Joe Gatti. And I remember Joe Gatti. Again, I covered the quality grain. Did I say quality grain? The MV Benjamin, the cocaine MV Benjamin trial. I covered it on a daily basis. Every day I was in Joe Gatti's office. Never once, whether when he set up the Georgian Wood Committee or when the trial started, did Joe Gatti ever grant any interview, even after the people had been charged. They had been charged though. They had been fully charged. The trial was on. Gatti never ever granted. And he always told the media that, what do you think? And he'll be joking with them. What do you also think? You're asking me. I'm not the judge. When they say the court is the judge. I'm the Attorney General and I'm doing my prosecution. And then he will smile about it and he will leave. Never once did Gatti do any such thing. If I roll it over this way, Gloria Kufu began the trial of Opuni. Did you ever hear anything? Godfrey Dame here. And somehow, I don't know whether Dominic Ayini has issues with Godfrey Dame. I understand from what happens in the Attorney General that he will ask that the Godfrey Dame step here, then he won't step there. Then, I mean, that's not. We'll come to that. But I remember during the Atta Akyea trial, Atta Akyea was Minister of Finance today, when Godfrey Dame was Attorney General. NPP people were attacking Godfrey Dame that why did you allow Atta Akyea's statement to be taken in Parliament? He should come to a police station and take the statement. Who does he think he is? And Godfrey Dame told them that, oh, but he's a member of Parliament of the minority. Parliament's a place where we can find him. So if you can find him in Parliament, what's the problem with it? They said, you have to go to his house. Dame said, for what? I mean, you should do that. Atta Akyea's statement was taken in Parliament, in the comfort of his parliamentary office. That's where his statement was taken. He was given a self-recognizance bill. That means he doesn't have to pay any money or put any money up. That's why Godfrey Dame did the Atta Akyea's trial. The same Atta Akyea's trial that became, hey. They've forgotten, or they remember they won't say it, Atta Akyea's. The court people went to Parliament that he may make his statement. And then today, what do we see? Attorney General. Wow. This was something. Dr. Dominic, good evening to you, sir. This one was something. Attorney General finished trying the accused person, buried him. And as you heard in our promo, the only thing Dominic Ayini did not do about the press conference yesterday on Kwabena Dubois was that he was unable to pronounce a sentence. That's the only thing he couldn't do. And why couldn't he pronounce a sentence? Because as we said in the promo, trials are not conducted in the media. Anyway, end of that story. Now, let's come to the main one. So, Dominic Ayini yesterday said that Kwabena Dubois had stolen money. He had diverted. He gave all the details of the investigation. He had bought 27 houses at 295,000 cedis at the same day. He had taken money that belongs to the National Signals Bureau and he had used it upon himself. He and his wife, they had misappropriated 39 million cedis and $7 million. All kinds of allegations were mentioned yesterday. With all that kind of information Dominic Ayini has, he told the press that he is yet to charge Kwabena Dubois. He has not charged him, whether for stealing, for fraud, defrauding by false pretenses, causing financial loss to the state. No charges had been preferred against the accused person. No charges. With such comprehensive, what looked like a comprehensive investigative report, the Attorney General, who was holding this comprehensive investigative report where he knows how the guy bought a ticket and changed his ticket and bought it again and changed it again. He even said that the guy bought a ticket in somebody's name. And we're asking the IATA people whether that is possible. The response coming in so far is quite negative. But we want them to write formally to us that it is not possible for somebody to use. So we've written to IATA to the Attorney General in Ghana says that somebody bought somebody's app. Is it possible? So after he had such painstaking investigation that delivered so much fact, the Attorney General thought that it was better to first do a press conference before he charges the accused person. He hasn't charged the accused person. Today, as I speak, he has still not charged the accused person. Having all this gamut of significant information pointing to the committal of an offense, the Attorney General is yet to charge Mr. Dubois. Anyway, then came Atta Akyea, who has become counsel for the accused person. And here is what he says. On Thursday, the 20th of March 2025, Mr. Kwabena Duboahin arrived at the Kotoka International Airport on a British Airways flight from the United Kingdom. It is totally false that he flew economy class to disguise himself as Attorney General was strenuously projecting it to be. Our client was in the business class, a fact which is easily verifiable. It begets belief. Did the Attorney General say that the guy was flying in economy class to obscure his identity? But again, it's so easy. Just take the boarding pass. It's so easy to verify this. Anyway. It begs belief that a criminal should be audacious enough to fly out of the jurisdiction through the Kotoka International Airport, a security area, and return on his own free will to Accra while the criminal routes of the Togo and the Ivory Coast borders are safe options available. Okay, let me jump to the next one. On his arrival at the airport, Mr. Duboahin reclined at the commercially important persons lounge. A ruse was created that there was immigration issues with his passport and he was wanted at the open place where the passengers of all aircrafts landing at Kotoka International Airport check out. Our law-abiding clients got into the open space only to be handcuffed for public ridicule and ferried to Yoko cells where he is still languishing. The next day, Friday, the 21st of March 2025, his wife walked to the premises of Yoko to find out how her husband was doing, and she was immediately arrested. Rehearsed criminals do not voluntarily go to the place of their arrest. They run away and become fugitives from justice. Again, when the undertaking is persecution, it is easy to confuse decent and well-cultured Ghanaians from common criminals. As at today, Atta Akyea says, Angela has been incarcerated by Yoko on the account of what the Attorney General is using to contaminate our clients in the press and unprofessionally expose them to public opprobrium. It is difficult to come to terms with the fact that the Attorney General is comfortable with the press where there is no proof beyond reasonable doubt. The Attorney General has become the press persecutor of our clients, a judge in his own court, while simultaneously asserting that he is still investigating the case. This is counterintuitive. We do not believe a change of government through constitutional means should degenerate into a reset version of full rule of law in which the press is fed with a pathetic, one-sided and untested position by the leader of the bar. This unmitigated prejudice with shocked that at the press conference, the Attorney General was even entertaining himself with issues of plea bargaining when the statements of the suspect are yet to be taken. It was even laughable that the ages of Angela was lost on the Attorney General, given the fact that Yoko has seized her British passport, which obviously had her biodata. Kwabena became the Deputy Director of the National Signals Bureau in 2016 during the NDC time in government. The MPP in power did not jettison his competence and vast experience in the field. Kwabena had been doing business well before he was appointed by the MPP government to the high office of director. I was very much surprised this morning when our clients were denied the right to counsel by Yoko with a reset constitution that I could not have the confidentiality of talking to my clients and giving them the appropriate legal advice prior to interrogation unless an official of Yoko listens to the lawyer-client's solemn engagement. This reset rule of law defies my modest 31 years of legal practice. In today's Ghana, says Atta Akyea, the Attorney General is acutely aware he has violated the rights of our clients relating to not more than 48-hour incarceration, constitutional prescription, and tells the whole world that he can play with the bail issues by releasing our clients and re-arresting them. Well, so that's what happened. They said Kwabena Duboahin has stolen, he's done this, he's done that. They are still not charging him. Lawyer Abafo is here, so I'm going to rush to him now. But before then, this is an article which we have verified and would like to show it to you. It's written, Dominic Ayini should stop misinforming the public. Kwabena Duboahin owns Glofet, a multi-million-dollar company and one of the biggest, if not the biggest, fertilizer company in West Africa. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Ayini, during his press conference to itemize the cases involving some individuals his office has investigated, created the impression that Kwabena Duboahin of Signals Bureau, appointee of Akufo-Addo, is an MPP member who has acquired wealth and property that defy logic. It is hereby stated that Kwabena Dubois is not and has never been a member of the New Patriotic Party. He is not a politician and has always been a businessman. He is not an MPP NDC matter. It is imperative that these facts are made available to the public about him. Kwabena is the owner of Glofed, a multi-million-dollar company and one of the biggest, if not the biggest, fertilizer company in West Africa, which owns the biggest fertilizer blending setup in Ghana. This entity has loans from banks, including the ECOWAS Development Bank, which it services diligently. Glofed did many business with Kaba Ubor when Dr. Stephen Opuni was the chief executive officer of the entity. He and his wife Angela Eje Boateng own several other successful businesses in and outside Ghana. He has been owning businesses long before 2017. It is important to point out that Kwabena has been working at Signals since 2007. He was a public servant under President Mahama, serving as deputy director. He rose through the ranks and became director when the MPP came into office. He owns properties running into several millions of dollars. He has been owning many expensive cars, including Ferraris, G-Wagons, Range Rovers, and others before 2017. Dr. Ayini should stop creating the impression that the gentleman and his wife acquired all these properties and built these businesses when he became director of Signals Bureau. This ugly haste of making this a partisan case is not only reprehensible but mischievous. If he has done anything wrong, he should be put before court. If he has done something against the state, he should charge him and stop linking him to the MPP. It is quite perplexing that Kwabena Dubois has not been charged by the Attorney General yet. He is being persecuted in the media. The nauseating habit of prosecuting people in the public domain when they have not been sent to court must end. This is not how our laws work. Dr. Dominic Ayini should stop hiding the fact that Dubois owns properties and businesses long before he became director of the Signals Bureau. If these facts are not available to him, then his investigators are incompetent. Now, we did a little bit of check on the company called Glofed, and I'll show you what we found on their website. They are a fertilizer manufacturing company, and they are quite wealthy, as it says. What is Glofed? Here it is. Glofed Limited is a wholly owned Ghanaian fertilizer blending company in Ghana, having the largest blending factory in terms of output capacity, producing 48,000 bags, 50 kilograms per day. Viewers, you can calculate how long he's had Glofed and how much he could make from there. Glofed focuses on improving crop production and ensuring food security through excellent yields by providing environmentally friendly, affordable, and quality fertilizers to farmers in Ghana and across the continent of Africa. This is a news story in 2019 where Ghanaian company Glofed establishes a $4.5 million fertilizer factory at Esuboi. The company sent $4.5 million and invested it in Esuboi. $4.5 million. That's some money, isn't it? That's huge money. $4.5 million. He invested it in the Suboi. Now, these are some of the things. Glofed launches Ghana's largest fertilizer producing company, and here it is again. I think I can see Dr. Baumia in there. The Glofed launches, viewers, listen, Ghana's largest fertilizer producing company. Remember, Ghana is the second largest producer of cocoa in the world, and so any company in Ghana that is the largest fertilizer processing company in Ghana has a lot of business through Kaba Ubor, and that's why it's not surprising that the company was working with Kaba Ubor. All of these facts are available, but these facts were not showed at the press conference. We'll get there. We'll get there and